Rachel Dawn went through a painful marriage that ended in divorce at 25 years old, but her story doesn't end there. You met a man.
I did, yes. And it was messy, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't what it was supposed to look
Still
like.
not the fairy tale.
No, it was not. I mean, we met actually while I was going through my divorce, and we started hanging out, and we started dating. I mean, like I said, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't what it was supposed to look like. But there was so much redemption in all of it. It's so good. But yeah, so we started hanging out, and then dating, and then my divorce was finalized. And 4 years into our dating relationship, Barry proposed. Barry is my husband's name. He proposed, and that was the furthest thing from perfection too. So he's proposing, and you know what should be the happiest, most joyful moment of my life? I spent freaking out, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to be married again. I don't know what I think about marriage. I don't know. I don't understand any of this anymore. Like, I've been there and done that, God, and it ended really badly.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that again. So you're gonna have to teach me what marriage even looks like, and what's the purpose of marriage, because I don't understand. And so God led me. There were 6 months between our engagement and our wedding, and God took me on this beautiful journey of preparing me for remarriage. During that time, in those 6 months, I read 16 books on marriage, divorce, and remarriage. And the common theme that I picked up through all of them was, first of all, I'm not alone. In all the things that I was feeling, in all the things that I was thinking, divorce is a very, very isolating event. And what I think is anyone who goes through it, you just feel like, I'm the only person going through this. I'm the only person thinking these things. I'm the only person feeling these things. And what I learned in reading those books is, no, this is very common. You know, I'm not alone and I'm not crazy, which was something that I needed to know, because that's the way that you feel.
So you learned a lot of great things for your marriage, but I'm thinking, like, this is a conversation we so need to have. You know, up to half the people that are watching this right now have either been through a divorce, or on the verge of a divorce, or trying to recover from a divorce, or trying to survive in a second marriage. I'm thinking about those people. We have only a few minutes left. Rachel, what would you tell them? I guess someone who's gone through a divorce and feels like, God can't use me anymore. My life is ruined. I'm so rejected. I'm not worth anything. You know, all these thoughts come into our mind. You wrote down all these lies after your divorce.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of the other big piece. So I was angry. I was running. I was rejecting God. But then the other big piece was that I felt like a complete and utter failure. And this track on repeat in my mind was, your marriage failed, therefore you failed, therefore you are a failure. And so I took on that identity of failure. And just like you said, my life is ruined. I'm damaged goods. I can never have this perfect picture that I had for my life anymore. Now I'm just gonna have to settle and take what I can get. And again, God met me in that place and showed me, no, because of what you've been through, we can use that. It's so far from over. You know, I had this kind of first initial dream or vision of my life that I was going to speak and teach and train young girls about abstinence. Okay, that was something I became really passionate about in high school. And then I get divorced, and I'm like, well, there goes that plan. You know, who's going to listen to me now? And what credibility do I have? And all of those things. And so, but God showed me, hey, we might not necessarily be talking about abstinence, but we can now relate to a whole new group of people that you couldn't relate to before.
Yes.
And the amount of just, I mean, how judgmental I was and how critical I was before. Like, I shudder to think, had I been put into a place of ministry at that point. And so God showed me, we can use all these things that you've been through.
Yes.
There can be hope from this. There can be so much redemption from this. Your story isn't over yet. And now you're going to be able to reach all these other people because of what you've been through.
And you are reaching them. Your book now, what? A Story of Broken Dreams and the God Who Restores Them. Amazing story. You're so honest in here.
Thank you.
And I love that, because I think we got to start from a place of honesty, because we're all dealing with life.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Some of you watching this may be totally relating to everything you said. It may not even be divorce. It might be something else, that you feel like a failure. You feel like God can't use you anymore, or that your life is never going to be anything good. One of my very good friends going through her divorce had someone say to her, your today is not your forever. Where you're at today doesn't have to be where you end up. And God specializes. This is the thing He's the best at, is redeeming and rewriting our stories. If you want to start that journey today, if you want to get rid of some old baggage and shame and grief that you have about how your your life has turned out, I want to challenge you, do something about it. Give our prayer lines a call right now. You don't even have to give your name. You can stay confidential. It's 1-866-273-4444. We'll be right back.